So, today I want to talk to you about a technique that I use to help me pay my bills, to reduce the stress and anxiety around bills, and also to ensure that they are all paid on time and no bills are missed. We all know that sinking feeling when you receive bills in the mail and perhaps you haven't catered for them, or perhaps the amounts are a little bit higher than you wanted them to be. And for most people, the amount of money that they need to pay each month for their bills changes. Some months it's high, some months it's low, and sometimes you'll have months like April where you get unexpected amount of bills and they're a little bit higher than what you imagine they would be. This causes a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and sometimes it can just kill your budget. Money in the bank that you thought was yours and you haven't catered for it in bills is no longer there for you to spend or for you to save. So what I wanted to introduce was bill smoothing. So what bill smoothing is all about is giving you the ability to be able to spread the cost of all your bills. And you do this by paying smaller amounts but more often. And how often depends on how often you get paid. So if you get paid weekly, then I would do bill smoothing weekly. If you get paid monthly, then I'd do bill smoothing monthly. So why do we do bill smoothing? Because this is the result that you'll see. You'll see that your bills have smoothed out over the months, and that's why it's called bill smoothing. The amount of money that you're paying for bills in January is the same as the amount that you're paying each and every month. And that is going to help you a lot with your budgeting. So what's the plan? Well, this is the steps that I'd like you to follow. The first one is we need to work out what all your bills are. So I'm going to get you to list them all. You're then going to calculate what are the regular repayments that I need to make each week or each month or each fortnight. Then I want you to enter them onto the calendar on our dashboard. And then number 4, I want you to set up your payments. So I want you to automate those payments in your banking system on internet banking. I want you to have your bills paid automatically, and that will help reduce stress and anxiety for you. I really highly recommend this method. I've used this method for years myself, and I would be lost without it. I've also taught a lot of my clients about this method. Many of them had never used it. Some of them had heard about it, and now they all swear by it. So I want to recommend this method to you. Okay, so what do we do first? First of all, we need to list all your bills, and you can either do that. Some of you may have already done that. You've got spreadsheets and you've listed all the bills, or perhaps you've got an amazing memory. The other thing that you can do is print out your cash flow report, and this will show you some of the regular bills that you've been paying. And for some of you, there might be bills there that you've forgotten about, and so they'll appear on your cash flow report. So I have shown you how to create a cash flow report before, but here's just a little quick reminder on how to do that. So to recap, go to your dashboard, click on View Report for your cash flow report, and then from here you want to select full months. Remembering when you join, if you joined halfway through the month, it's going to take you back 3 months, but it's only going to take you halfway through a month. So make sure that you get complete months with your start dates. So change those to what the months you want to reflect. Where it says show monthly breakdown, we click yes on that, because that will help you to see what bills you've paid each month, and then you click on generate. From this report, you'll see that you'll be able to identify what income you're receiving, and for most people this is the same. But here are your bills. So if you go through the bills, it will tell you how much you're spending each month, and it might actually prompt you to remind you of what bills you actually have, especially those that perhaps you only pay once every 6 months or quarterly or so forth. So that's the report that you want. You want to either print that out so you can export it, or if you want to email it to yourself, you can click on email. So now you've got a copy of the cash flow report, which helps you to work out all the bills that you have. You can also download the bill payment organizer. I've given you 2 of these in the email that I sent to you. One is blank and one is filled out, as you can see, and it's just a little bit of a prompter of the type of bills that you need to pay. I've also given you a bit of a guide, so you might like to list, what bills you pay and when you pay them, and then that will actually help you with the next step. Now, the next step is working out what your repayments are. So I want you to grab a copy of all your bills, things like electricity and gas and water and rates and things like that. And I want you to calculate what your regular payments are going to be. And I'm going to run you through an example. So this one is going to be for a gas bill. So what you need to do is you need to grab your gas bill, and we are going to work out what the daily charge is. So somewhere on your gas bill, you need to look for what is the cost per day. And in this example, it's $7.38. Now, if for some reason you can't find this information, you can always call your provider and just ask them how much gas or how much electricity or how much water am I using per day. So we're going to use this bill as an example. Now, as I mentioned to you before, whether you pay weekly, fortnightly or monthly, I strongly suggest you base it on your pay cycle because that will really help with your budgeting. Now, if you are going to pay weekly, you just get your per day amount and times that by 7. If you're going to pay fortnightly, then you would times it by 14. And if you're going to pay monthly, it's not just a matter of timesing it by 12. I want you to times it by 365 and then divide it by 12, and that will give you your monthly repayment. So when you set up your bank accounts, you're going to be setting up this periodic payment to go to the provider, depending on whether you pay weekly, fortnightly or monthly. Now, I want you to do this with all your bills. So I've given you some examples here. So gas, internet, mobile, water, your insurances, your mortgage repayments, investment property, rates, and any other remaining bills. You can apply the same principle. This does take a little bit of time, but I can't tell you how much time this will save you in the long run. If you set this up now, it's a little bit of a set and forget, and you'll really be very, very grateful that you spent this time to organize yourself like this. Now, I've also got another spreadsheet that you can download from the email, and this is just going to help you organize these periodic payments that you're setting up. So in the left-hand column, you list your bills, then you list the amount that you've calculated, then work out how often you're going to pay it, from which bank account. So some people have different bank accounts for different bills, or perhaps they have a his and hers account. So work out which account it's going to come from. And then we've got a bills account. So for most of your bills, you're going to be able to pay them straight to the provider. So things like water, gas, electricity, internet, mobile phone, things like that. But there are some that you can't pay to the provider each week or each fortnight. And they're things like, land rates, council rates, car registration, car license. But we don't want to forget about them. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit that money in a bills account so that when that bill comes in, you've already got the money for it and you don't have to go looking for it. And then the last column is done, and that means when you've actually set it up on your bank account and it's all set up as a periodic payment, you can give yourself a little tick. Now the next step is I want you to go to your dashboard and I want you to enter all the bills that you have just calculated, and I want you to include them on the calendar. And by including them on the calendar, it is going to actually ensure that they're included in your budget each month. This will save you a lot of work, so I highly recommend you do this. And again, I have shown you how to do this in previous videos, but here is just a little bit of a reminder. Okay, so now you make your way back to your dashboard, and hopefully you're starting to get a lot more familiar with this page. You're now going to click on Goals and Budget, and from here we want to click on View Calendar. Now what we want to do is we want to put all these regular payments onto the calendar, because that means they will be automatically included in the budget in the months that we want them to. And that just saves us a whole lot of work over the next couple of months. So you determine when is your next payment. So you choose that date and you click on it. You then add calendar item, and then you add all the bills that you want that are going to be paid on that day. So for example, I'll do gas. You then select the category. You then write in the amount, and then how often is it going to be paid? Are you doing it weekly, fortnightly or monthly? You might have some other options as well. So I'm just going to choose monthly. And do I want to include it in the budget? Yes, I do. And then add the item. You may have some more, so you just take this time to add in all the different bills that you want to add. And you add your items. If you make a mistake in any way, all you've got to do is click on the little rubbish bin there and that will delete it. So go through and add all the bills that you want to be added in on a regular basis. And then if you want to see what you've included and what you haven't, there's a couple of different ways of doing that. Here you can click on next. So you can see here that once a month you'll see what bills are going to be paid. So you'll see there it's been paid on the 21st of each month. So if you've got a payday and you get paid on a particular, most people get paid on a particular date in the month, then organise it maybe for a day or two after that date. Okay, so now you've entered all those bills into your calendar. The next step is your bank account. Now we want to set up these periodic payments so that it's all automated and it's a little bit of a set and forget. Now there's two types, as I mentioned to you previously. Those that you can pay regularly and you can just pay them straight to the provider, and then those that you can't, and they're the ones that, say for example, like your rates or your car license or car registration. I want you to set up a bills account. So I want you to set up an account that is only for bills and it is never touched. It's not money that you can sort of dip into. It's not part of your emergency fund. It is purely a bills account that is catered for only certain types of bills. So it's not, say for example, to put extra money onto your water bill or to put extra money onto your internet bill. This is purely for those bills that you have catered for. Okay, so I want you to go into your bank account and set up those payments now. If this is perhaps a new concept for you, then please don't hesitate to go into your local branch and just let them know what it is you want to do, and they'll be able to teach you how to do them. Now, I also do offer a coaching service. I know for some people this does get a little bit tricky and they want some help. If you are wanting some more personalised one-on-one coaching, I'm happy to do that. There is a fee attached to it, but if you would like more information about that, then please don't hesitate to contact me. Okay, so hopefully we have now covered everything that you need to know about bill smoothing. So just remember again, list all your bills, work out your regular repayments, enter them onto the calendar, and then automate them through your bank account. And once you have done that, I'm sure, like me, you'll feel a big weight lifted off your shoulders. The only other thing I will point out is sometimes you do need to review what those bill payments are that you're setting up. So for example, sometimes your bill payments can be seasonal, so your gas might be more in winter and less in summer. So you'll just maybe have to review that a little bit. But sometimes it's just a little bit better to pay a little bit more, and then remember, anything that's a credit to you is a little bit like forced savings. Okay, good luck with it all, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'd be happy to help.